I do. I do have a lot of facials, if you will. I was on my dance team in high school. I got the best facials award.
Yeah, okay, great. um, but I just thought it was funny. That was my,
Sorry.
my she's making facials at me.
I just threw a facial at him. Hey there, sexy techies.
Hey, everybody. I have some exciting news for the podcast.
Yay! I love exciting news.
Yeah, so starting this season, including last episode, we're trying out putting our full episodes, videos on YouTube.
Cool.
So yeah, so now you can listen on any, whatever podcast app you like, or watch on YouTube, or both if you choose.
You can see just how awkward I am when I talk. It's going to be awesome.
Both of us. So there's two reasons that I decided to do this. A third. Yeah, I mean.
Just kidding.
The third was, one, I didn't have enough to do already. So I needed to learn how to really edit video and, spend my time editing full-length podcast videos.
I need to give you a honey-do list. Go on.
So, no, but really, one is YouTube is great for discovery, and we'd love more people to find out about the podcast. And so we're going to try this out and see if people like it and if we get more listeners and viewers to the podcast.
Awesome. Yeah.
So, number two, though, and the real reason is last season. So if you follow either of us on Facebook or Instagram, I would make clips of our podcast videos and post them on Facebook. I didn't do the full episodes on YouTube. And early on in the podcast, my grandmother told me that she saw the clips and she was like, "How can I watch the full videos?" And I said, "Well, you can't. You have to listen." And then we had to tell her what a podcast app was, and what a podcast was, and all that. And so she's been listening. But I know she really wanted to watch because she's like, I just really want to watch because May's so funny. And I love watching her reactions and the faces that she makes and things like that.
I do have a lot of facials, if you will. I was on my dance team in high school. I got the best facials award.
Yeah, okay, great. But I just thought it was funny, that was my
Sorry.
She's making facials at me.
I just threw a facial at him. Okay, go ahead.
My grandmother was, telling me she wants to be able to watch May. So her grandson's wife. And I was like, "Oh, thanks, Graham." And she was like, "Well, I like listening to your voice too." So we're going to have the videos there. At least we're going to try it out for a while. Go on YouTube and subscribe and like our videos. If we can get enough people to watch them and make it worthwhile and subscribe and and the channel grows and the podcast grows and stuff like that, we'll keep doing it. So do it for us and do it for Graham.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm excited to see what this is going to bring about in terms of more listeners. Do you think that having it a video, our podcast as videos on YouTube, is going to make a difference in our audience?
Yeah, I mean, you never know, but it can't hurt, and it's something I'm willing to experiment with. And I mean, there's billions of people watching YouTube, like we talked about in one of our episodes in season 1. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some additional listeners or viewers from it.
Yeah, awesome. I know it's kind of a cool experiment. Speaking of experiments, that's going to lead us to our first little segment that I'm going to talk about. Of a startup that has to do with science. It is a fairly new ed tech company called Labster. Have you ever heard of Labster?
I don't think so.
Yeah. When I saw it and I read about it, I thought it was genius and awesome. I'm a huge science geek. I was in the science track in high school. I started in college as a nursing major. I
remember.
I realized I did not like blood and fecal matter. So then I switched to international health, which still, I still had to take, the biosciences and, microbiology and all that. And I thought it was really awesome and cool. So when I saw this company, I thought it was amazing. So Labster's mission is to empower students and educators by offering accessible, engaging, and hands-on learning experiences in the field of science through virtual reality and augmented reality.
Oh, interesting.
So they provide these like immersive and interactive experiences that replicate real world laboratory environments. So if you are at a school or, you know, if you're a science teacher or something and you don't have access to, you know, these state of the art laboratories, you're still not, you know, behind in learning the advancements of science, which I think is really cool. Their goal is to provide equal opportunities for students to explore complex scientific concepts in a safe and interactive virtual environment. So their key strength is accessibility, which is huge, like right now. I mean, everyone's talking about how the disparities in, you know, our socioeconomic climate has to do with everyone's accessibility to certain things and, you
Right.
know, being being ahead in like the tech and science industry, you need to have access to some of these things. So I think it's really cool.
So I'm trying to envision it. Is it so do you like you strap on some like AR or VR goggles and like they have software and like you can run experiments virtually?
Yeah, there's different lessons that it has and you kind of like click on it and then you're able to just like kind of go through a lab in like 3D.
Okay.
And explore a laboratory. I was listening to one podcast kind of explaining it, and one of the teachers was talking about how her students did just like lab safety, like VR, like VR. And so her students kind of like went through and they were able to, you know, safely replicate what it would be like if you got splashed by chemicals. You can't do that in real life, right?
True.
And that you had to like, and how quickly you had to like run to the eye wash station, or else I guess the Labster like can make you permanently go blind in their AR like world. Yeah, and
real consequences.
Yeah, and so that you know that's just the lab safety like chapter of it, but they are taught real world experiences just like within the lab, and then also able to like discover new things virtually. This teacher was also saying that students, when they were doing that safety like experience, some students would like try to help the other students like go to the eye wash quickly because like nobody wanted, you know, a lifetime of blindness.
Yeah.
I guess. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, so it allows millions of students to access high quality education, which was previously unreachable because physical access to like a quality lab is lacking for so many. And instead of like reading textbooks or watching a lecture, which is what, you know, a lot of schools were doing that didn't have like really great laboratory, you know, access, they can now have this like immersive experience. Some of the things that they have on there is analyzing samples for life signs on Mars, solving a murder mystery with DNA analysis, and even identifying a new virus. So all these things you can do virtually now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Just a little backstory on the company. So Labster was founded by Michael Bodeker Jensen. He is a bioengineer. He calls himself a self-taught geek with a capital G.
Only a geek would say that.
I was going to say, that makes him sound cooler. He has always been, you know, interested in like new and emerging technologies and gaming. And through his early experience working in a gaming cafe, which I did not know existed, but here we are.
Yeah, remember those old internet cafes that we used to have in the U.S. too? I think they got shut down. Was that just in Florida or
internet cafes? Like where you can? I just thought internet cafes were coffee shops that you could go to access the internet.
Yeah, I think there was something a little weird going on there.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know.
But there was also gaming going on.
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm gonna have to brush up on my internet cafe history knowledge.
The internet cafe scandals of Florida. Well, so through, you know, he he had a lot of experience going to gaming cafes. He played video games, and he actually met his co-founder, Mads, in 2012. So Mads Bondi was a serial entrepreneur with a background in computer science. So Mads was also a professor, and they're based in Denmark. And he found that students were having difficulty staying engaged and arriving prepared for lab work. So they knew that there was like an issue with having students, be engaged in, going to and utilizing their labs, especially if they weren't well-equipped labs. There was this disparity with people having access to laboratories, but then they were also inspired by flight simulation training. And so through that was kind of like the basis of knowing that they could transform the way science was taught. And they kind of use that as their foundation.
Okay.
So their founding team obviously faced numerous challenges during the early stages of development because, as you can imagine, trying to capture the accuracy and detail of working in a virtual laboratory is probably not easy. I don't know. I've never built anything, but I'm sure
Yeah.
the coding for that is extensive. But despite these challenges, Labster gained significant traction and support. They really targeted educators and students. And obviously, everyone thought that it was kind of a genius idea. Their early success led to collaborations with renowned educators and institutions, and they were able to align their program with existing curriculum to ensure that the simulations complemented traditional science courses. So it's not like they made up their own thing and, all of the universities and schools had to adjust their curriculum if they wanted to, incorporate Labster. It's like Labster already had what could supplement what they were already teaching.
Okay, so like they took the standard curriculum for whatever grade in high school that is or whatever, and they designed their AR, VR labs around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I think is, they know their audience. They knew who they wanted to target. And I think that was kind of brilliant of them. They talked to their users. That seems to be a trend. Yeah. So Labster initially raised $10 million in Series A funding from Balderton Capital, but since has raised a total funding of $147 million over 5 rounds.
Wow.
So they're pretty successful. And I just love it because, again, of their accessibility and the fact that they are making science within reach for so many people.
Yeah, that's cool. So I'm looking online and I just wanted to get a sense for their pricing. And there's just from a quick Google search, so I don't know how accurate this is, but it says in groups per student pricing starts at $79. And like for a single user license, prices start at $109. So it's per student model, which is typical for like K-12 edtech software.
Yeah, you would know. Yeah.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, I spent the first 9 years of my career working for an edtech company.
Yeah. So that's just what I wanted to highlight. Love the fact. I feel like, one of the things that they were saying, the founders, it was they would love one day to have somebody who wins the Nobel Prize go up and in their acceptance speech say, my love for science started with Labster because I was able to utilize a lab that I, normally couldn't at one point.
I think any company would love for somebody to say that. It's a good marketing. All right, so I want to talk about 2 companies that are creating products or experiences that are kind of out of sci-fi. They kind of seem like they're out of sci-fi. And a third that, whereas these first 2 companies are sort of taking us into the future, this company's kind of taking us back to a time of yesteryear or something like that.
Yes. Who says yesteryear? I don't know.
Yeah. People who are talking about, really far back. So the first company is Apple. Okay. And I want to talk about their Vision Pro device.
Okay. I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay. So Apple announced the Vision Pro in June of 2023. It is scheduled to launch in early 2024, so this year. I've heard reports, some say that it should be out in February.
Oh.
So just a month from when we're recording this.
Okay.
if you haven't seen it or like what it is, I would highly recommend going on Apple's website and taking a look. They have a video. Yeah, you can go on and look while we're talking just to get an idea. Make sure your volume's down. They have a video. I think it's like a 9-minute video sort of demonstrating it. It's a really cool product. So they call it a mixed reality headset. And it allows for what Apple calls spatial computing. So it looks like, if you look at the device, it looks kind of like snowboarding goggles, ski goggles, or like a scuba mask or something like that. Although it doesn't cover your nose like a scuba mask. And it runs on something called Vision OS, which is Apple's new spatial operating system. What it allows you to do is see all of your apps in the space around you. Yeah. So like you're looking like in a room and you can see, like it's your phone across the entire room.
Yeah.
And
just like floating apps in the room.
You can make them bigger or smaller. You can navigate with your eyes. It tracks your eyes.
What?
You can select different apps. You can use some sort of like hand gesture to scroll websites.
This is the future.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I can't wait to like actually try it.
Yeah.
Because what I'm seeing is like marketing material, marketing video and stuff like that, the hype. But we'll have to try it out. But you can view content in 3D, which is cool. And you can. The other cool thing is like, unlike VR goggles, like traditional ones, you can see your surroundings through the lens as well. Yeah. So like I could be seeing you and working and like seeing my screen at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
Or like if you were in another room and you walked in, I wouldn't have to take it off to like have a conversation with you. Like I can talk to you while it's on.
That is some multitasking.
Yeah. So it uses machine learning to represent your physical attributes realistically when you're like in video calls. So because you have this thing on your head, you can't have like a camera on you because like you could, but like you'd have this weird thing on your head.
Yeah.
So it somehow it knows what you look like, and it can map out what your mouth is doing, what your hand gestures are, like you had a camera on you.
Wow.
Which is really pretty cool.
Huh.
The technology, and it's crazy. So the video goes into this, but the resolution is like 4K quality in each eye. Like the amount of pixels that they've packed into these lenses is pretty insane.
I have questions. I know you have so much more to say about this.
There's a few more things.
Okay, but as somebody who has very bad vision,
okay,
what if I looked at them without my contacts in? Like, how does it know? Because I can't see like past like a couple inches from me, and so how does it know that I'm actually like looking at the app?
I think it's tracking your eye movements. It doesn't you're not going to have a good experience in it, I don't think, if you can't see anything.
Right.
But so you should probably use your contacts.
I know,
but get LASIK.
I was just thinking that. And then how does that relate then with people who have glasses?
It doesn't. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's enough room on it to wear glasses.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it from what I'm.
No, and it doesn't look like they'd be comfortable because it kind of straps around your head, right?
Yeah.
Like it would cover those.
Especially because big glasses are in.
So you might have to get contacts in order to use it. I'm not sure.
I was just curious about that as somebody with impaired vision.
Yeah. It's got 2 like super powerful microchips in it in this, relatively small headset. Mm-hmm. It's got a 3D camera too, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, it says so that you can create like 3D videos and then like view them in 3D, in like real 3D through the thing.
That's crazy.
But like just looking at it, and I'll put a picture on the video stream so you can see it too. But like, it doesn't look like something you'd wear around town or like out. It looks like something you're going to wear in your house. So like maybe you can make some pretty cool 3D videos of like, I don't know, something in your house, your dog or your kids or something like that, your cat jumping around. But like,
I don't know. I feel
that's not one of the main selling points to me.
This is the future. So this is going to be what we're seeing in the future. People are probably going to be walking around down the street. Video, content creators are probably going to be like, oh, check out a day in my life. And we're going to be seeing more people with these on.
I think we definitely will. People are going to be wearing these things.
That's crazy.
So there's some different use cases for this thing that looked pretty cool. So one is video games. That one's not as interesting to me because we have the VR headsets already, like that can do a lot of that stuff. Another is watching movies. Like watching movies on this thing, you could make the screen like as big as your wall. Basically, it's like you can make it enormous. For images, like panoramic images, like you can actually make it look panoramic, so it like wraps around you, like you're there. You can use it for just like casual web browsing. I think you can use it for like graphic design and like web development, like
with your eyes,
like you're working. Well, I mean, like you can connect it to your MacBook,
okay,
and use it as like the screen for your computer.
Yeah, wow.
And so like working is another thing. Like they're expecting people are going to use this thing for. Just like instead of a lot of us have multiple monitors.
Right.
Now you could have several big monitors up there and just or tabs that you can go back and forth between.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean it's a really fascinating looking device.
People can probably work on their commute. I mean, not when they're driving. That's dangerous.
Oh yeah, like on a train or something.
Yeah, like if you're, it might actually encourage people to like go back into the office because they can actually, because a lot of times people don't want to go into the office because the commute, sucks up some work time. But if they can work while they're commuting, maybe.
Well, I think it's more that it sucks up like your off work time. I don't know that they want to be working.
I don't know.
So this is not a cheap device.
Okay.
Initially, when it comes out, it is priced at $34.99, $3,499.
I was like $34.
So it's expensive.
Okay.
So that's a limiting factor for who's in the demographic that can buy this thing.
Right.
Another thing is, so Apple in their marketing calls it like a beautiful device. I think, I don't know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but like I looked at this thing, I wouldn't call it beautiful. I think, form factor wise and like design wise, it wraps around the back of it looks like you're wearing ski goggles.
Yeah.
It doesn't, they say it's comfortable. I'm sure it's comfortable when you first put it on.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if I could wear it all day.
Like 8 hours.
Yeah. Like if I was actually going to be working with it.
I wonder.
It has a wire, like a cord coming out of it. I don't know if you can see that in the pictures or videos, but like that's because it's they didn't want to put the battery pack in the device because it would be too heavy on your face, on your head.
Right.
So it has a cord attached to a battery pack that you can like keep in your pocket.
Got it. Yeah, I see that. It does in terms of like beauty. It does look sleek, at least in terms of like it's not. It's thick, but it's not like too like clunky.
No, it just, I mean, it can be, so like, I envision where this will go eventually is it will look more like glasses.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They do want to block out all the other light and stuff though from getting in and like around your eyes. So, the glasses will likely still need to have something that comes up and covers your face.
Yeah.
But, I think they'll get smaller, they'll get lighter, they'll get better like all technology does.
I wonder if this is going to start fashion trends, like if this is going to start dictating what actual glasses look like, because I mean, glasses change throughout, the years in terms of what's in style. And I can see Apple kind of infiltrating like the fashion world and like trying to make glasses that, conform more to your head be what's in, and then everyone kind of follows suit. I bet.
We'll see. I mean, who knows? It's interesting though. So there's already some competition out there. Like, I mentioned the gaming technology. There's like the AR and VR goggles and glasses. Most of it's focused around video games and like virtual worlds and stuff like that.
Right.
Apple with this product is more going for like your actual like practical applications that I mentioned. There is another project, though, on the horizon that will be a direct competitor. So in 2023, Google, Samsung, and Qualcomm announced that they were partnering to develop their own mixed reality device to compete with the Apple Vision Pro.
Wow.
So that is scheduled to launch at the end of 2024.
Okay.
And it's projected to cost about $2,000. So significantly cheaper. That's just the projection. I don't know what the eventual price will be.
Yeah.
And
they'll have the advantage of hearing the feedback from those Apple Vision users.
Yeah, definitely. So
'cause I feel like that's what they do. They like Apple will come out with something, there'll be some backlash for things and then they'll like improve upon it. It's all business. So I get that.
Sometimes it works that way. So by the end of 2024, we should have 2 of these devices out there that can do some pretty crazy stuff.
Everyone's going to be watching the ball drop on New Year's Eve in 2024 with all different kinds of goggles.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be in Times Square. You'll feel like you are. Right. What do you think? Would you get a pair of these?
If it guarantees that if you have bad vision, you can still use it, then I would. It seems cool. I would want to not be one of the first users. I'd want to wait until they've developed and taken out like all the kinks and fixed all the feedback and I'd like maybe get something like a couple versions down.
Okay. Yeah, that's how I feel too. Like $3,500 is a lot.
Oh, well, yeah. But I mean, like that's how much like laptops were at one point.
Yeah, sure. But I don't need this device. Like I need a laptop now, and I can get one for $500.
I don't know. People with typewriters didn't think they needed laptops.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, no, I definitely think this is cool, and I'm, I look forward to going to the Apple Store and maybe trying it out or something like that, and seeing just how cool it is. But I agree. I want to see what the competition looks like. I think I can wait a year or two.
I won't be
see where this goes.
Watching the ball drop this New Year's Eve. But I feel like they can do a lot more. Like once they kind of figure out the technology piece to it, they can have, like a cooling gel maybe, or like a foam to make it like more comfortable. They can
built-in like face and head massager right in that thing.
Yeah, all the things that just will make it more comfortable. So I'm excited for it. That's awesome.
All right. So that was the first one. This next one, I'll start with a question. Have you ever been sleeping?
Yes.
And every night. And been dreaming and known that you've been dreaming and been able to like control your dream and your thoughts in your dream?
I don't think I've gotten to like step 2.
Okay.
I've known that I was dreaming. I remember like there were a couple times where I was like, this is so stupid. I'm dreaming. Just like wake up. But then I would, and then I wouldn't, and I wouldn't be able to control the rest of the dream.
Right. Or sometimes I've had that happen, and then you think you woke up, but you didn't, and you're still dreaming.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's happened too.
So, but like how many times, like how often or how many times has that happened to you where you know that you're dreaming in a dream?
Probably 5 in my whole lifetime.
Okay. So same for me, only a handful of times. Apparently only about 50% of humans experience one or more lucid dreams in their lifetime. I would say I've probably never had a real lucid dream.
Wait, is lucid when you know that you're dreaming?
I think there's degrees, but yeah, like you're dreaming and you can control what you're dreaming about.
Okay.
And like, yeah, that sort of stuff. So I don't think I've ever had that. I have known that I was dreaming a few times. Only about 20% of people have lucid dreams regularly, like once a month or more. And only 1% of people have them more often than that, like weekly or more than once a week.
Wow.
So, and it's long been this like dream to figure out like how do we control these things, and like how do we make ourselves aware that we're dreaming and have control over what we're dreaming. Yeah.
Dreaming is such a crazy concept because it's what you have like the least control of, I think, in your life. You can't control those thoughts, or I don't know. It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's just subconscious. So there's this company called Prophetic that wants to help people be able to create lucid dreams.
Wow.
Where both you're aware that you're asleep and you're dreaming, and you can control what you're dreaming about and what you're thinking about in your dreams. So you can, set the stage for your dream. You can, you want to be at the beach, you're at the beach and you're relaxing, whatever it is you want. You want to be, maybe you're a researcher. You want to continue doing your research or your thoughts about your research at night while you're sleeping. You can increase your productivity while you sleep. I don't know. I mean, I'm curious if that's actual rest. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like you sleep, you're supposed to. I feel like that's a lot of brain activity for trying to sleep.
yeah, but I mean, when you're having these lucid dreams, I think you're in REM sleep. Like, I think you're in deep sleep. So, like, I think you're still getting the benefits of sleep.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know about if they're forced like this way because no one's done this yet.
Right.
But so the way it works is they have this headband looking thing. They call it a halo
Okay.
that the user wears while they're sleeping. And it sends these like focused ultrasound signals into your brain to activate different parts of your brain and engage this like lucid dreaming state.
Okay.
All right. So it's like super out of sci-fi. The company states on their website, they say, there's a reason why history's luminaries in science, math, and art credit their lucid dreams for their most pivotal discoveries.
Yeah. Right. I've heard that.
Yeah.
It came to them in a dream.
Either a dream or, while they were drinking absinthe or like
Right.
high on something, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Some altered state of consciousness.
Yeah.
So far they've raised $1.1 million, which doesn't actually seem like that was their initial fundraising. That doesn't seem like a lot at all to me for a company doing this type of technology.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm surprised they raised that little. There have been other companies that have tried to do this sort of thing before. Not necessarily, I don't know if they necessarily did it with ultrasounds, but there's companies and people have wanted to be able to control this for a long time. So this company's going after it. Nobody's been able to do it successfully.
Right.
I don't know if this will be the company to do it, this Prophetic. I don't know, anything about safety or like they haven't, I don't think they've actually tested this yet. I think it's still in the conceptual stage, like the concept stage. Their website, if you look at their website, it's a bit over the top. And this sort of language always makes me a little wary about like a company's claims about their product. They say like they have this thing on their website. It says Prometheus stole fire from the gods. We will steal dreams from the prophets. And it's like, I don't know. It just makes me think of like Fire Festival or like some, these like.
Yeah, it's just like a concept.
Like promising a little too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you never know. Like they could figure out how to do this. I kind of doubt it will be a one size fits all thing. Like I doubt it will work for everybody.
Yeah.
Because like already we know that like some people have an easier time having lucid dreams than others. And I was reading about this. Apparently like you can actually do things to make yourself more likely to have lucid dreams. Like there's different exercises, like thought exercises and things you can do to like put yourself in a state to be more likely to have these lucid dreams.
Interesting. I've also heard that there's things that you can do just to remember your dreams in general, because I know that, that data that you gave about how many people actually have lucid dreams, I wonder if more people actually have lucid dreams, but they just don't remember it. Because just in general, like I sometimes when you maybe like talk in your sleep or like mumble or something, and I'll be like, what were you dreaming of last night?
Like hypothetically, me, right? Not like actual me.
So like last night. But I remember I would always ask you like, what were you dreaming of? And you never remember, but I know you were dreaming.
Right. I don't think that probably wouldn't qualify as a lucid dream if you wake up and you like immediately don't know anything about your dream.
Right. No, that definitely wouldn't. But just knowing that you had a dream in general, I think is something that people don't know. And
no, I often
control.
don't remember any of my dreams.
I remember I used to like be really into like what dreams meant and like the symbolism behind things that you dream about. And I was reading an article once, it was when I was a lot younger, about how you can remember your dreams better, and like keeping a dream journal, always like waking up and writing down like the last thought that you had, and that helps you to remember your dreams more. But I wonder if there's anything. And so when you were saying that there are like exercises and things that you can do to help, give yourself lucid dreams, I wonder if that's like the next step.
Maybe, yeah. So this company is expected, this product is expected to launch sometime in 2025 and projected to cost between $1,500 and $2,000. I don't know if that's accurate. Like I think they're pretty far out, so who knows what it'll end up costing.
Interesting.
If anybody wants to check it out, Their website is propheticai.co.
Okay. Kind of reminds me of that movie that Leonardo DiCaprio was in where, they were like spinning the top to see if they were actually dreaming.
Inception.
Yeah. And like, I wonder if we would ever like be in that alternate universe where like we are actually like living in our dreams, because we can control our actions and things like that.
Yeah, I have to see that movie again. I think I've only seen that movie once, and I remember after seeing it, I said, wow, I think if I watch this again, I'll like understand it way, like, I'll see a lot more things that I didn't see the first time.
Right. It was that was kind of crazy, but.
All right. So this third company is doing something a lot different from the first two.
Okay. Yesteryear one.
Yeah. So those other two, they're testing the bounds of, technology and the future. This other company is bringing us back to the quaint past. And think back to before you had your iPhone. What device were you calling people on?
My Blackberry.
Your Blackberry. Yeah. You had the Pearl, right?
I sure did.
So Clicks Technology is creating the Clicks Creator keyboard for the iPhone.
Oh.
It is it looks like a case for your iPhone, like a normal case, but at the bottom of this case, and it extends a couple inches below the bottom of the case, there are physical Blackberry style buttons. So it connects right into like the device connects into your phone through the USB-C or Lightning port or whatever. And it allows you to type using these physical buttons onto your iPhone. It gives you the little click, tap feel that you got from the Blackberry. When you're using it, you do not need, it doesn't require your on-screen keyboard to pop up. So you can type without the keyboard and save, space. You save a third of the screen or whatever it is and the keyboard pops up.
Yeah.
It's projected to actually no. I think the initial devices are priced at $139. It makes your screen, your phone, a lot bigger.
Yeah, I was
makes
just gonna
it
say.
a lot longer. So they haven't shipped any of these yet. The first versions ship in February.
Okay.
They say on their website. The later versions sometime later in the spring. It's only available for a few iPhone models. I think iPhone 14 and 15 models.
Okay.
Right now, you can look on their website. It's clicks.tech if you want to check it out. What do you think about this? So, like, I thought we were beyond the whole buttons thing on the phone. I didn't think people wanted that anymore, even though, we talked about this in a different episode as well. Like, people thought they wouldn't be able to give it up. But now that, that didn't take long. And, now no phones have it. But I'm curious if you think you would use this. And I will tell you that when I read this, so I read about this on TechCrunch, and it was probably the most smug article that I've ever read about like technology. The person who wrote it like clearly thought this was a waste of like an idea, and doesn't expect it to do well or anybody to really use it, and doesn't really see any value from it. Was the feeling I got from the way the article was written.
Interesting.
Which is why I'm kind of surprised they even agreed to write about it. But
Right.
but what do you think? Do you want something like this?
Well, so I liked how with like when I would text on your Droid, I liked how when you touch a letter, it kind of like vibrated.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was like some sort of validation with like knowing that the letter that I touched was the one that was activated.
Yeah. Does that not happen on the iPhone? Or is that
if
not
it does,
a
I don't
feature you can turn on?
Maybe it is a feature.
Okay.
And maybe I'm just like not used to it anymore. But like, I don't know. I kind of like the clicks and things like that. I do know that the autocorrect on my phone definitely knows like when I've been like, when my finger's getting lazy and it just is kind of like dragging to the, it knows what letter I'm trying to get to, even though I like fall short. So I wonder if that can happen with this keyboard now. I don't like the fact that it makes your phone bigger. However, I have an earlier version of an iPhone, and so it is smaller than like the ones now. So if they did make a keyboard for my version of iPhone, I wouldn't think that it was too big because there are phones that big now.
Right.
I like the fact that your keyboard doesn't take up like a third of your screen, when you have this keyboard on here, like the screen keyboard. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but like I was thinking about that, but when you're typing on your phone, do you really need the rest of the screen? Or you just want to see what you're typing?
Not necessarily. Sometimes I refer back to like a spelling of how somebody said something, and then I have to like scroll up and then like scroll back. I mean, it doesn't happen very often.
Okay.
But sometimes I do that.
Okay, like if you're typing an email.
Yeah. Yep. Or even a text. Like if I have to, I don't know, give somebody an address and I have to like refer back to a previous text or something like that. I don't know. I'm torn on it. Like, is it necessary? No, absolutely not. Like I can function without it. But if I did have it and, would it be cool to have? Maybe.
Yeah, I'm curious if there's a demographic that will, want this. Like, is there, let's say older people, do they want their buttons, for instance, or?
Interesting that you say that, because the first demographic I thought were the younger ones, because
well, yeah, I don't know. It could be either.
They're the ones that never had buttons. And because they're the ones that also like now they want those Polaroid cameras because they want to develop film, which is like, why? I mean, and so maybe
like we need to be able to see our picture right away. It's like, you already can.
I know. It's so weird that, we just, and then you waste your film because you have a bad picture or whatever.
But there is something, I mean, for us, it's nostalgic because we had those phones when we were kids. For younger folks now, it's, I guess you wouldn't call it nostalgic because they didn't have those phones, but it's something.
It's retro.
Yeah,
it's
cool. Retro, right? Oh.
Yeah, like that's a fad for them
retro.
to go retro. I know. It's a fad for them to go retro. I went to a concert with my friend, and these youngins in front of us were like, can you take a picture of us? And they handed us a digital camera because they thought it was so cool that they had a digital camera. And I remember my friend Stephanie was like, she whispered to me, she's like, why don't you just use your phone?
Yeah, I mean, most phones, like new phones now, have better cameras than most. Like, I'm not talking like DSLR cameras, but like a little camera that you would carry around.
Right, but they like that retro look to what a digital camera like with 3 megapixels can create.
I guess I wouldn't use this thing. Like I mean, I don't think my pocket has enough room for it.
Yeah,
I definitely,
especially for a guy.
Yeah,
sure.
I was thinking that like a woman's pocket. I mean, most of your pockets would definitely not fit this thing. I mean, obviously you could carry it in your purse, but like, are you really going to add this to it for that? So yeah, it'll be, I don't know if this is like a gag thing or like a, like a more gimmicky thing, or if it's actually something people want, but we'll see. I wonder if they did any research on this, or if they were like, it would be cool.
I know. Yeah. The other thing that I think is interesting is that like there's a button on the keyboard that still can pull up, like your emojis, but there's no, you still have to select an emoji on your screen. Right.
Oh, so you're saying like, how would they?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't mimic that maybe I don't know. Maybe there's a way.
Yeah. Interesting. No, I probably wouldn't use it, but if someone gave it to me, I would.
You'd try it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it was pink, I would. So, okay. I am so excited for this week's Hot Mom of the Week, just because of all the content that we've been talking about. So Tony, are you ready for the Hot Mom of the Week?
I am, and I don't know if this is obvious from my reactions, but I never know who the Hot Mom of the Week is before the segment. So I am looking this person up just like you as soon as you tell me who it is.
Okay, let's get into it. It's time for our Hot Mom of the Week.
Yeah, whoa, last time I checked, I'm still hot, real hot.
Okay, so talking about science and innovation around science and ed tech, I got really excited to spotlight this female scientist who is just killing it in content on her social media. And above all, she's a beautiful mother. So her name is Emily Calandrelli, and her handle is @thespacegal on social media platforms, all of her social media platforms. She has the same handle. She was raised in Morgantown, West Virginia, and she, as a little girl, always loved math and art. But at a young age, she felt there was a noticeable divide between people like her family, who they were, one generation removed from poverty, and all the, in quotes, smart kids whose parents were professors at West Virginia University. So her drive and curiosity was there, but she didn't really have the means to explore and learn like others who had that accessibility at their fingertips. See how it's like connecting to the things that we've talked about?
Yeah.
So she went through school just kind of maintaining good grades. She had test anxiety, so she wasn't she couldn't test into the gifted classes. She avoided honors courses and things like that. But, she got by in school. She went to West Virginia University as an engineering major. And that was driven by, she compiled a list of all of the typical salaries for each major, and she picked the one that could make the most money.
I should have done that.
But I mean, she came from, a life of not having a lot. So she was really driven to make money. So the turning point for her came when her professor teaching her introductory course at West Virginia University assigned a project that involved building a model bridge using only the materials provided. I feel like we've all had that.
I loved that
Did you?
experiment. Yeah.
Well, hers, when I had to do it in my physics class, you could only use, I want to say like toothpicks.
Yeah, I think we
and
did
glue.
it with toothpicks or popsicle sticks or something.
Yeah.
Toothpicks sounds right.
Yeah, hers was with like straw, glue, and string, apparently. But anyway, irrelevant. So the experience was kind of depressing for her because it was supposed to be a group project, but she ended up building the bridge alone while her teammates were like throwing a party because they were in college. But she made a really successful bridge. And when the project was named Best in Class, her mood and her self-perception of herself shifted.
Wow.
She was validated in thinking that she could actually be good at this. And I think that's kind of a really good feel-good story. So she thrived in college after that. She put herself through amazing programs and internships, one of them being a research internship at NASA, where she met another aerospace engineering student from MIT. And spoiler alert, he ended up being her husband later in life. I know. But at that time, he connected her with his former advisor at MIT while she was applying for grad school. So she graduated MIT with a dual master's degree in astro engineering and technology and policy. But now she is an Emmy-nominated science TV host and co-executive producer of a show called Emily's Wonder Lab on Netflix. She's featured as a correspondent on Netflix's Bill Nye Saves the World and is an executive producer and host of Fox's Exploration Outer Space. So she's doing a lot in television with
I wasn't
the
expecting this
sciences
to
too.
go in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, she's kind of like the whole package. She's like brains and beauty and everything. So like she is able to, be this smart scientist, but then also, be out in the media, which I think is really great. It makes science a little bit more mainstream for people. And so I love that she's utilizing her knowledge to do that. She's also, besides television though, she's also the author of the picture book, Reach for the Stars, the science experiment book, Stay Curious and Keep Exploring, and the science chapter book series, The Ada Lace Adventures. So she has over 2 million followers across TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And yeah, so she's just so cool. And I'm so inspired by her. I feel like she's everything that is right about being a female and a mom in the science field. You don't see a lot of that.
Very niche.
Yes. When I was researching, first I started with, science content creators to follow. And, the science field is just so male dominated still. And she really gives like this great presence for women in science. And, the fact that she's doing children's books and children's TV shows, I think is amazing for little girls everywhere to be like, hey, that she looks like my mom, or, that could be me someday. She was doing her Emily's Wonder Lab show up until she was 9 months pregnant, like with her first child. So it's also kind of cool for little girls to see like, pregnant working women, all of that. So
yeah, and hearing about all of the things that she's done, and I mean, you just kept going and going. Like I was expecting it to end, and I would have already been impressed. But like, I don't know if anybody listening is thinking this, but like, it just makes me think like whenever I feel like I'm busy or like I'm doing enough or too much, it's like, well, I guess maybe not.
I know we could be more like Emily, I guess. Well, fun fact though, I kind of saw when in researching like trending females in science, I learned that science content creators are called science communicators. So people actually call themselves science communicators when they are content creators in the field of science. So I don't know if you've ever heard that term before, but
no, I haven't, and I feel like maybe the science communicators need some branding help.
I communicate science. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm sure Emily can think of a new name. She's just so cool, and someone that I look up to, even though I might be older than her. But, so you go, Emily. Give her a follow. She is at the Space Gal on all social media platforms.
Well, that's all we've got today. If you enjoyed the episode, hit the subscribe button.
And reach out on social media.
.coms
And Hot Moms.
signing off.